Modern men are giving up on college, and I'm proud to admit that I'm one of them. Recently, I watched a video from, I believe, Chris Williamson. I don't know if that's his actual name, but Chris Williamson, explaining how modern men are dropping out of college at record high rates, and that at some point in the near future, the ratio of women to men in college will be 2 to 1. For every man, there will be 2 women at the average college campus in America. Now, my first initial thought upon hearing this was, I need to go back to college. Okay, all of my dating problems would be solved immediately. As soon as you put me on that college campus where there are 2 women for every man, it's game over. My second thought was, why? Why is it that women are staying in college and men are not? I know why I dropped out of college, but everyone has their own different reason. But largely, I believe that the main reason why many men are dropping out of college is because we have better options now. For example, the internet. Okay, me making this video right here, I'm getting paid for this. This is my full-time career. I make a living doing this. I have my own apartment. I'm able to own my time and set my own schedule, set my own hours. I didn't think that I could get to this point at the age that I've been able to get here, because I thought that I had to go to college and get a job and eventually get to this point over time after paying down my student loan debt and all of that. Fortunately, I was able to break free from the systemic thinking that I had been indoctrinated with growing up, and I was able to carve my own path in life, or follow the path of some of the people that I looked up to by becoming a YouTuber. Now, not everyone is equipped to become a YouTuber. Okay, this isn't for everyone, but anyone of any race, age, religion, or anything else in between can utilize the internet to leverage their gifts, okay? And I think that this is something that a lot of men are starting to realize. A lot of women realize this too, and I'm going to get into the reason why I think women aren't capitalizing on this in a second, but you have to understand that college is no longer necessary. Unless you want to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, you don't need to go to college. Okay, you do not need to go to college. You don't need to go to music school, art school, film school, anything like that. The majority of liberal arts degrees are largely a bad investment unless you're receiving a full ride scholarship. You have to understand that if you learn how to utilize the internet, how to utilize internet marketing, how to build an audience, establish a brand, you can get to places that college could never get you to in a much smaller time frame. There are people who are utilizing the internet to make millions and millions of dollars in their teen years. Imagine being a teenager, 18, 19 years old, pulling in 6 figures a month, 7 figures a year. You cannot get to that point through college unless you're one of those prodigies who goes to Harvard at age 14 and graduates at 15 and starts your career already. The majority of us, we're not in a position to do that, right? So we have to use our resources outside of what we've been taught to use in order to get to those points. It helps that we have all of the framework available to us. Everything that we need is available, okay? We have all of the information. We have access to people who can help us to achieve our goals. Okay, there's pretty much no excuses. If you put in the same level of effort as you would into a college degree on an internet business, any type of internet business, whether it be dropshipping, affiliate marketing, Amazon FBA, a YouTube channel, or a Shopify store where you're selling products that you create, you will be successful. You will reach a point where you will be making more money than a college degree could make you. But a lot of people are not willing to make that commitment. Nowadays, people are starting to wake up. More and more people are starting to join this side of the fence where we can pretty much create the lives that we want for ourselves. But most of us are men, and why is that? Women largely tend to be risk averse. Now, this is embedded into their biological nature. They're caretakers. Okay, now obviously there are exceptions to the rule. Just like there are men who are risk averse, there are women who are prone to taking risks and to taking leaps of faith on themselves. But generally speaking, from what I've observed in my 21 years of life, women are risk averse. How many women do you know have dropped out of college to start their own online business? I want you to really think about that. I know off the top of my head at least 5 or 6 men who dropped out of college who are all around my age, and most of us are highly successful at our ages. That's not to say that women are not going to be successful by going through college, but the majority of women, they're not going to take that chance to figure out whether or not they can go that other route. Typically, the correlation between intelligence and risk aversion is a positive correlation amongst women. A man who is more intelligent, a man who understands the game, understands the possibilities with the internet, they will be able to analyze the risks and act accordingly, right? They'll be able to take that leap of faith on themselves, knowing that no matter what happens, they'll be all right. Women, on the other hand, tend to seek out security. They would rather be secure and live a more holistic lifestyle, even if it comes at the expense of the fulfillment of their potential. It's just embedded in their nature. That is the way that they think. And like I said, there are exceptions to the rule. But when women are highly intelligent, they utilize that intelligence to create more security for themselves. The life that I live harbors little to no security at all. Okay, I could make $1 million next month, I can make $0 next month. It is entirely up to me. And I'm willing to sacrifice some of the other aspects of my life, for example, a social life, or maybe sometimes sleep, or other little things that other people may not be willing to sacrifice, especially women, because I want a certain goal. But like I said, a lot of women, they'd rather live a holistic lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with that. So bearing that in mind, it suddenly makes much more sense that a record amount of men are dropping out of college, especially men in that 18 to 24 age range. We want greatness. That is what men seek out. We seek out fuller expansion, typically through one or two avenues of life, right? And a lot of those things are related to financial success. Whereas women, on the other hand, they tend to focus more on the big picture of life, which I personally believe is actually a much healthier way of approaching life, but it comes at the expense of the fulfillment of your potential in those 1 to 2 areas. For me, for example, YouTube and any other branch that might grow from this tree that is my primary brand. Women generally don't care about that. They'd rather have a forest of smaller trees than to have 2 big trees. Men typically don't think that way. Now, another reason why men are dropping out of school at a higher rate than women is because of trade school. Okay, trade school is something that I think a lot of people forget about. Trade school, in my opinion, is a much more viable option to success than college is in most cases, because trade school is more efficient. It gives you valuable skills that you can use in the market to not only practice on your own, but to later on down the line start a business. It's cheaper than college. It typically doesn't last as long as a 4-year bachelor's degree. You're able to accumulate more money at an earlier age, which gives you more time to take advantage of compounding interest on investments or on savings or whatever you choose to do with that money that you make. And a lot of these jobs, such as plumbing or electrician work or anything like that, are not appealing to women because women tend to stray away from manual labor. Now, that might be a controversial statement. I understand that there are women out here putting in some work. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the majority of women, especially women who have higher intelligence. Okay, now I know that this is probably going to get me canceled saying this. I'm not saying that every woman who does manual labor is not intelligent. What I'm saying is that, generally speaking, women who have higher test scores, women who show signs of mental intelligence will gravitate towards more white-collar jobs.